welcome to Dola, Ohio. We are here to preview the Hardin Northern football team on the warm-up, presented by Kenton Moose, joined by Polar Bears head coach Mike Dennis. Mike, guys are working the guys pretty hard out here on this morning.
Yeah, hopefully they're working hard. Every day you want to come out here and try to get better, and that's what's been our goal at. And I've told them before that, either you get worse or you get better. And Woody Hayes said that a long time ago, and I follow that philosophy, and that's what we're trying to do is get better every day.
First year here as head coach at Hardin Northern. Last year there was no varsity team, so it's kind of a fresh start here. And is that the way you're looking at this camp?
Oh, I don't know. I teach here, and when I came back, I guess you can look at it as a fresh start. But then again, you've got some upperclassmen. Our juniors will be here a little bit talking to you. Look at them. But I've told them after 7-on-7 that they have to grow up. They're going to have to be seniors. Our sophomores are going to have to be juniors. From a fresh start, yeah. But there's a lot of same things that what we want to do is from in the past. We want to get better every day. We want to become fundamentally sound. We want to just execute to its fullest. But I think it's a work in progress. But at the same time, it's happening. So we've got to take sometimes baby steps before we can take those bigger steps, and I think we're doing that right now.
And last year there was no varsity team, so these guys all played JV. How important was it to keep that JV program going, knowing that it was just hopefully going to be 1 year off?
Well, it's important. They kept playing, they got the game experience, but at the same time it was Friday night lights, and they're playing against the older kids. And but talking along with that, we've got a lot of kids coming back. At the same time, we've got a lot of new kids. So roughly we've got 30 kids right now that's out, and I think last year we had around 14, 15. So from that standpoint, that was one of my goals, is to be able to play a JV freshman schedule along with that so they can gain experience. And last year, they only played one game, and some of the kids sat back and not played any type of games. So, it's something that's exciting. But, from the standpoint of them getting experience, that was the whole main reason. And Keith Obenauer, he stayed with us on staff. He was the coach last year, and he did a wonderful job of keeping the program alive. And I think that's a great tribute to him, and also to the kids that were here last year.
And there's a great energy in camp here early, just observing a little bit. They've got the pads on. It's early obviously in August, but how has it gone so far, having everyone here together getting ready for the 2014 season?
I'm excited, and I think the kids are, and I think from the standpoint it's there's a little bit of a change. I think the work ethic and things like that, they're still, I'm happy, but I'm not satisfied, because I think they can give more and show more. And that's what 2 days is all about, to find out what's going to go on. But, obviously, when they put the pads on full gear and we start to hit on Thursday, we'll see what type of team we'll have.
So you mentioned it's a pretty young team. What are some of the advantages to that? Because you can kind of instill in these guys the right way from the beginning, right? There's no previous lessons learned, or
they still got some habits, and I think sometimes playing at a lower level like they did last year, JVs, which I thought was great, like I said, but sometimes they've got to raise the bar up there, because they're going to play against junior and seniors. And but overall, I think everything's going the way we planned it. But we're still, like I said, not satisfied. We still think we can give a lot more, and that's what you keep on pushing kids. But I think, like I said, I think the energy is good. I think the attitudes are good. And from the summer we've had weightlifting, and the energy was good there. And a lot of kids showed up, and I'm very proud of what they've done so far.
Looking ahead to the first scrimmage, you guys have one on the 15th against Antwerp. What are you hoping to get out of that leading it up to week 1?
Evaluate our kids, evaluate what we can do and can't do. And obviously we want to look at the film and what we can't do very well, work on those things that we can become a better football team. Scrimmages, I look at them as extended practices. Some people get caught up and think, they really dominated or they didn't do very well. We're looking at certain things, look at certain personnel, look at groupings, things like that. But, just go in, evaluate our kids, evaluate what we're doing, and see what things we need to work on, and see what things we can do to get better.
And then heading into playing an independent schedule this season, and then moving into the NWCC in the following season. How do you guys think you fit into that conference?
Well, I think, I don't care, in the BVC and to the Northwest Conference, Central Conference, I think you've got to compete in both conferences. I don't look at one greater than the other, one lesser of the other. You've got to compete. There's good teams in both leagues, And, I just think, us getting out of the BVC independent schedule, good for this year, allow us kids to grow and develop. But also at the same time, we're looking forward to getting into the new conference. And like I said, we're going to have to compete. And I wish it was easy, but it's going to be work. And I know those teams down there, they're going to prepare for us as well as we're going to prepare for them.
Looking at your team, what can we expect on the offensive side of the ball? Are there position battles brewing, or is everything pretty much set?
Well, like I said, when we go full pads on Thursday, and that's when really we start evaluating, because you see players come out on Thursday. And right now things are just trying to time things up and see how things go and remembering plays and trying to execute that way. But when Thursday comes, hopefully there's a lot more battles. But right now we've got a certain first group and a second group for a starting point. And, that we'll reemphasize that here Thursday, that everything's open. So, hopefully competition really plays a good part on and developing a leader, a starter, and also hopefully, those guys can be starters and also lead us to wins.
And finally, on a personal note for you, what does it mean to you to become head coach here, being a teacher here, and also you're a longtime assistant here in Arlington and being around this team? What does that mean to you, and are you looking forward to the challenge?
I'm looking forward to it. The kids, I look back at these juniors and look at the rest of the team that went in the locker room. I think, from the standpoint, I'm excited. I work with them and I've seen them since they've been kindergarten kids up through high school. And I, from the standpoint, I looked at them from the last couple of years, I felt for them. I know what times they went through, and like we won the state back in 2004,
Just 10 years ago, not that far away.
We'd like to get back to that level. And that's what our goal is. But, obviously we've got to take one step at a time and get these kids to play well and execute very, very well.
Well, best of luck to you this season, Coach Dennis. Thank you for your time. Time for a break here on the warm-up presented by Kenton Moose. But when we return, Mark Kuntz will join us to chat with some of the Polar Bear players.
Welcome back to the warm-up presented by the Kenton Moose Lodge. I'm Mark Kuntz, joined now by a pair of juniors on this Hardin Northern football team, Storm Drummond on the end, Blake Obenauer. And first off, Storm, what was it like last year not having that varsity football team, only having to play JV? I suppose it was good to have the JV program, but did you feel like you guys were missing something on Friday nights?
Well, it's always tough not being on that JV team, but it's what you have to do with all them young guys. Put them up against them big guys. I mean, that's a tough situation to be in. So I think it was the best thing to do, but it was tough.
Blake, did you learn a lot from last year? Do you think that was a better experience playing that JV schedule as opposed to going up against kids 2-3 years older than you every Friday night on a varsity schedule?
Yeah, I would say we learned a lot. We had low numbers, so that was one of the main reasons that we did it. But it was a good experience also because we had a lot of young guys, and those young guys at a bigger school would be playing JV anyway, so I feel like it was a good experience. And at a time, we would only have one or two guys on the sideline, so I don't know if we could have done that with a varsity schedule.
Yeah, you look at the team this year, about 30 kids out. It has to feel good to have that many kids out. What was the summer like having that many more kids out playing football this year?
Oh, it was great. We just get a lot more hard work, and if you need breaks, they're given to you. And with subs, it's just awesome because you get a break and also the other guy gets a break, but you still also have to work hard. Even though we have these 30 kids out here, you just have to keep working hard, even though they have those substitutes, because you don't want anybody taking your spot.
Storm, what was the summer like for the Hardin Northern team?
Man, it's been tough, but you know what? It's a good thing to do because Dennis, he's doing a good job as a coach. He's pushing us to get good and to catch all the balls, and I mean, he's a good coach.
Coach Dennis has been around the school, been around the program before he went up to Arlington. So you guys have a comfort level with him, knowing, because you guys have known him for a while, even though he hasn't been the coach here for a while?
Yeah, I'd say we know him pretty good. Just going around seeing the school, saying hi to him every morning, and seeing him in gym class when we were younger. It was just great that we get to know our coach, and we didn't have somebody completely new coming in to Hardin Northern football and just getting used to that coach and making the season maybe even longer, just trying to get to know our coach.
Storm, what are the expectations for this year's team?
Well, I think it's just getting to know the offense this season, but the next season I think it's going to be winning because this season is just like a building time, because with like young guys like us, and I mean, I think it's just going to be like a building season.
Hardin Northern Polar Bears looking to build in 2014. The Kenton Moose Lodge looking to build in the community as always. We need to take a break. When we come back, much more on this Kenton Moose Lodge warm-up at Hardin Northern. Welcome back to the third down of the warm-up, joined now by two more Hardin Polar Bears as we talk with Wesley Schlatter and Preston Ribley. And Wesley, running back, linebacker, tell us a little bit about what this offense is going to look like for the Polar Bears.
What do you mean by that? Do you mean like the formation?
Sure. Well, I mean, what type of offensive philosophy? Do you think you guys are going to be running the ball a lot? Is this going to be a passing attack? What can we expect?
I think it's going to be more 50-50, a little more passing than what we're used to. Last year we ran a lot. Almost every play. I don't think we ever passed at all during most games.
Preston, you're in the backfield and a linebacker as well. What type of defensive philosophy will the Polar Bears have this year?
I would say, I don't know, like we have small linemen, so I'm guessing our linebackers would have to more step up this year. So I would say more 4-3 of defense.
As you look at the schedule, obviously you guys are playing an independent schedule, some teams you're maybe not necessarily used to. Do you like having that type of schedule? Would you rather see some of those old rivalries, or are you just going to take it as it comes this year?
I'd rather see rivalries, but the independent schedule, I think it's okay.
Preston?
I think, yeah, I'd like to see some rivalry. Having those smaller teams, it's going to be good for the lower class. I mean, they're going to get some work, they're going to get some playing time. So I think that's a good thing we're going into that.
Wesley, a couple of weeks for the opener against St. Wendelin, what do you think the team needs to work on the most between now and then?
I think we need to work on conditioning. Some of us still aren't there yet. And then mental strength, that's one element too.
Preston, I know obviously St. Wendelin's right at the forefront, but are there other games on this schedule you guys are really looking forward to?
I really don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule that close.
Having a season like last year, where without the varsity, playing JV only, was it a difficult thing for this team, this program, to go through last year not having that varsity schedule, or did you guys kind of have that long view that, you know, in the short term it wasn't the best, but in the long term that was probably the best thing for the program?
I had that long view. Yeah, I knew last year I was one of the older kids, and I knew what I was doing because I'd been in that varsity level, so I knew how to play and the speed of the game and everything. I wish we would have played varsity, but I know we couldn't.
All right, that's going to do it for us today here at Hardin Northern on the warm-up presented by the Kenton Moose Lodge. Thank all of our guests today, including Coach Dennis. For Matt Finkel, I'm Mark Kuntz. We'll see you next time on the warm-up.